The other piece of this that you need to know, and I forgot to mention this, when the homeowner does sell, okay, they are going to get a 1099. And the 1099 is going to be for the amount of money that the bank lost. Okay, and it's treated as income to them. The good part about this is if you do a short sale, and this is the other piece I missed before, if you do a short sale, right, the debt difference is forgiven. And the second, if it's negotiated, is also forgiven. They're not going to come after you to sue you for that amount of money. Okay? If you don't do a short sale, right, you're still going to get the, if you foreclose, you're still going to get the 1099, but that second mortgage can come after you. Will they? Don't know. Can they? Yes. At some point, they may just say, you know what? Let's just sell this to Joe's collection agency and get like 10 cents on the dollar, and let's see what they can get. Because right now, they got nothing. In most short sales, I'm going to give the bank, the first lender, is actually going to give money to the second lender. It's part of negotiation. And typically that's 10% of the value owed. So if the second mortgage is $20,000, the first lender is going to take out of their money and give $2,000 to the second. Because they recognize that they can't make this happen until both parties are satisfied. Great. Questions? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Again, we talked about this 5 times the amount of the current assets are from the Federal Reserve is released to them, and then they have to. So what to look for? You want to look for homes that have a large second mortgage, if you can. You want to look for underwater properties, if you can. Now here in this area, I don't know if you're going to find many. In Sacramento, there actually still are some because we got hit. The areas that got hit the biggest still have, we have about 10% of our homes in Sacramento that are still underwater, believe it or not. Not by much, but they are still.
2,700 reported.
2,700, okay. Thanks. Property needs a lot of work. So you're walking down the street, and you noticed, you've looked at your reports, you know it's an NOD, you're ready to walk up to the gate, and you see crap all over the place. You see the grass has never been cut, you have stuff all over. By seeing that, if the outside looks that way, what do you think the inside looks like?
Worse.
Right? So there's just issues that you need to be aware of. It's kind of like very important. And they have liens. They could have liens from the government. They could have tax liens. In fact, well, I'll tell them now. We did I was involved with James on a property in Folsom where we were ready to close, and we thought that the people had an actual tax lien of about $8,000. We were ready to pay that. Okay? When it comes to closing, we had to issue a demand to the IRS. And they come back at $86,000. Okay, so that stopped everything in its course. Now, most agents would have said, okay, this is done, can't help you, move on. But they weren't dealing with Frank Verne. Okay, so
Frank on my side.
contacted the IRS, and we arranged for that lien to be removed from the property so that we could then sell the property. So the IRS lien, it took about, 90 days?
Yeah.
About 90 days.
This is what the homeowner loved this because we were taking it to the next step, and they were getting ready to move.
Yeah.
And so they had 3 more months, or about 4 more months of free rent.
Yeah.
And what I promised when I sat down there, we kind of promised, we're going to extend and keep you in your house as long as we can,
Right.
so you can get back up on your feet. Put this money back in your pocket. So that was the key principal factor of, you know what, you care for us.
Yep.
And we're going to keep them in as long. So when that lien came up, it was a plus.
It was a plus for them. They
It
were
was a
happy.
plus for everybody.
I wasn't happy because I had a plethora of more work to do. Okay. And dealing with the IRS, let me tell you, the IRS is not your friend at all. They were nasty, nasty people. But I gave them what they wanted. They told me never to call again. They would let me know what's going on. Because I called them just as I would a bank. And sometimes you can call the IRS and they're friendly. This guy was, I'm not going to tell you the word that I thought it was, but he was really, But anyhow, so what we did is we moved that lien from the property and it became a personal lien to the sellers. We hadn't had to deal with it still, but we now were allowed to sell the property. And they were happy, everybody's happy. We made some money. What to avoid? You want to try and stay away from 1 or 2 bedroom homes. They're not that, now in this area, I'm talking Sacramento, okay? But here you get a lot of 2 bedroom homes, smaller homes, that are still worth $600,000-$700,000. I got that. But you don't want mobile homes. You don't want manufactured homes. You know, if it's 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and you look at, you know, you just have to really make a good decision there. Mobile homes with no land, stay away from them. Don't even knock on the door. If it's the biggest house in the neighborhood, stay away from that, because you don't want. It's going to be difficult to sell. You know, it's off. It's not part of the area. The lowest end of the market. Stay out of the ghetto. I don't think you have too many ghettos here, but stay out of the ghetto. Okay, especially with short sales. Now, a lot of people that are in the ghetto have issues that we need to help. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but what I'm saying is that you just need to be aware of what your issues are as you go forward. Okay? Because in those areas, as you start the rehab, what could potentially happen? You're gonna have to start the rehab over again.
I know, right?
Okay? So definitely stay away from war zones. Okay, don't even go near them, stay away, be done. And then homes that don't have any final inspections. So people that converted a garage, people that have built things without permits, stay away from those. Again, if you could get a house that's worth $1 million, you could pick it up for 100, I'm in. But that's probably not gonna happen. Now, at one point in Sacramento, you could actually buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that would, when it was really going in 2008, these houses were selling for $250,000 to $300,000. During that period of time, they were going for $25,000. And there were lots of them. Lots of them. And lots of people picked them up. Now they're selling them again for some stupid amount of money. And I'm sure some of that didn't happen here because you don't have the same situation that we have there. But it does happen. You just need to be aware of it. Leads. Where do you get your leads? Well, notice of default. You can get these lists virtually anywhere. If you want to go to the county courthouse, you can go buy the magazines, you know, the federal, whatever, the law documents. They're in the newspapers every day. Typically, they're in the local newspaper. So if there's a Santa Clara Times, that's where you're going to find these NODs. You can go to the courthouse. You can go to Property Radar. You can contact the title company. There's lots of ways to pick up leads when it comes to NODs. Okay? And then when you collect the NOD, what do you do with it? Well, that's another story. Find out why they're late. That's really, really important because it's going to determine the direction that you go in making this happen. Okay? So if they are underwater, there's different types of documents that you're going to submit to the bank to make this happen. If they're not underwater, okay, then maybe it's a regular sale, but your commissions and everything else is going to take it underwater. So they're right at the verge there. So there's, again, a different type of document that you're going to submit to the bank. So you need to find out what their issue is. You're there to help them. You're here to give them direction. If they're late, there's a reason. As we talked, it could be divorce, lots of reasons. Find out what it is. And then do your research on the property to see if it makes sense to do a short sale. It may not make sense to do a short sale. It might be a regular sale. But that's okay because you're still there to help them. Again, we talked about this unkept grass, stacked up newspapers. Referrals also work very well. If you have agents that you work with, you have title companies that you work with, you're working with people, wholesalers, you know, they're good avenues to get on your team. If you have these people, they will communicate with you and let you know, hey, I got something for you. I will tell you that in our office in Sacramento, everyone knows this is what I do. Anytime there's a short sale, my phone rings, okay? Because that's what I do. That's what I'm good at.
Let me add on this. You want the homeowner, you don't want the house.
Right. Correct.
And you didn't say that before, so we're not looking for the house, we're looking for the home.
Yep.
If you get the homeowner, and the homeowner's willing to talk, you set the agent in motion.
Yep. Yep. Road signs, you could do that too. Losing your house, call me, you know? Avoid foreclosure, you probably see these things on the street, you know? They were very prevalent in 2010, 2011, they've sort of disappeared, but you know what? There's no reason not to continue doing it. The people need help. Most people don't even know how to balance their checkbook. So what do you think the chances are that they know how to navigate through a short sale or through selling their house when they're in trouble? Trying to avoid foreclosure. It's not within their genes. Again, we talked about reasons why they're in foreclosure. Job loss, medical bills, divorce, transfer out of the area, lost tenant. Many were not qualified, or a mortgage reset, which is what we're talking about now with some of these loan modifications that happen. Okay? Questions?
Another point, hoarders.
Yeah, hoarders, they're good.
Wow. Now, those are awesome, awesome, awesome homes. So if you run across somebody that's just wants to save everything and they just hoard everything, that is a perfect person that you want to keep on your database.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the junk, but you're also gonna house, because they are never gonna list it.
Yep.
They're never gonna list it because they're never gonna clean it up. So an investor can come in and say, take what you want, we'll take the rest.
Yep.
And they just grab it.
It worked very well. And again,
The one I just got, seven dump loads and a 30-yard. And when I went into it, literally, it was like Sanford and Sons. You went in the back and it had like I mean, it's on my Facebook. Anybody want to do it? I posted the walkthrough, the video that went through. But it was amazing how you know, it's just part of the process of, it's not. They're just good people, but it's like,
right.
it's just
Happens.
different things. My wife has files everywhere, and I just go, drives me crazy. But I just love her.
A lot of people that are in financial difficulty are in denial. Okay? They just won't admit it to themselves. They won't admit it to you. They won't admit it to anybody. And they're afraid of what the next step is, but they're just not willing to do anything about it. Your job as an investor is to help them.
Yeah.
It's not to take advantage of them, it's to help them. It's to try and give them options so that they can go forward with their lives. Because they are in denial. They're angry. Very angry. They're angry at the bank. They really should be angry at themselves, but they're angry at the bank. During the foreclosure process,
That just means you're a 10.
huh?
That just means
Oh,
you're
I'm a 10?
You're
Okay.
a 10, okay.
During the foreclosure process, I would walk in homes and I'd find everything pulled out. There was somebody playing golf in the house. I mean, it was a mess. People were very angry at what was happening. They're discouraged. They're frustrated. They're lost. They don't know where to go. They're unmotivated. They're depressed. They're stressed. So you need to recognize that when you're speaking to them, this is what you're dealing with. Stop talking about you're losing your home. Okay, don't use those words. Okay, start talking about them. Let's get you to a situation where you can move forward. Okay, don't try to tie them to a place that has memories for them. It doesn't work in a short sale, especially if they're depressed and angry. Make sense? Again, why avoid foreclosure? Well, FICO can go down as much as 120 points. They lose their buying power. It's on their record for 10 years. Okay? Higher interest on loans. Now, in a short sale, you can typically buy a new home within about 2 years, if you can rebalance, because a short sale does not show up as a foreclosure. It shows up as a settled debt. So, and the way that credit agencies work, it's about a 2-year cycle to correct that. All of a sudden, you're able to make this work for you. Good?